welcome to Pixelated Pedagogy. Today we're going to talk about the media library in Brightspace. We've got some features that we're going to go over. We're going to talk about not only recording directly in the media library, but also how to upload existing content to it and then use it from there.
And I will be the guinea pig today. I'm a video note user, but I haven't used the media library very much. And so Caleb and Shannon will be helping me out today.
Awesome. All right. So you want to start by sharing your screen and going into a Brightspace course. The media library, just so you know, is available. It is not course specific, so it is user specific. And so you can access it from anywhere in Brightspace. It does not matter if you're in a course or on the homepage. Go to the settings, little cog up by your name, and then just click on media library. So then you will see here a list of your content. One quick note, I just saw in the upcoming releases for D2L that they are going to start having folders in the media library to organize content. So right now it just kind of all shows up in one place, but in the next couple of months we're going to be able to have folders to organize. So that'll be a nice addition. All right, so see the create recording button over on the left. So you click that. And you see you have some options down here. You can toggle your camera off or on, so you can just have an audio recording if you'd like. And then you see the blue link over on the left, or I'm sorry, on the right, allows you to share your screen. So if you have a PowerPoint presentation or something like that you want to show off while you're recording, you can do that.
Neat. This is pretty familiar.
Yeah. Pretty simple to use.
Can I click this button, change inputs, see what that does?
Yeah, that should let you change your camera and microphone sources if you want to.
Perfect. Mirror video, test audio. Nice. Okay.
It's very helpful if you have other plugged in media. So if you have like an external microphone or something, definitely worthwhile to change those if by some reason it's not the default. And you can also test your stuff in there too.
Can I hit record? Try something?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm guessing it is at 30 minutes like the video note?
It's unlimited. So you have unlimited recording time for video and audio.
The pause is nice. That's neat. Okay, cool.
Yes, you can pause and resume here. And so probably many of you have recorded video notes before, which is essentially the same thing, but it's within content in Brightspace. So when you're in a discussion post or an assignment or anywhere you see the text editor, you can hit add video note and record from there. The difference is you can't share your screen in video note, and you do have a limit on how long you can record. When you go over here to the library, those limits are gone. You can screen share, and then you can embed those videos anywhere you want to in your content. So it's just kind of you have a different strategy to go here first to record and then put it in your content rather than recording directly there.
So I shared video, which is really neat. Do you know how I stop sharing it? Oh, it's right up here.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. That's pretty intuitive.
Yep.
So go ahead, Caleb.
And then once you're done recording, you'll get that option to do finish recording. Or if let's say you want to do everything in one take and you messed up at some point, you can also just click restart and it'll delete your current recording and let you start over again.
And that's a nice feature with video note, and students complain about it too, having to redo it or whatever. But practice makes perfect some cases. Cool.
Yep. So you want to name. So one note here, you want to be specific in your names, especially because right now we don't have the folders yet, and so you will be able to add videos, into any course. And so you want to make sure if it's a course specific video, you maybe put the course number in there or the name or the topic or chapter that you're covering.
This has been very helpful with video note. I needed a video about the Electoral College, and I had 2 or 3 to kind of pull from. And even if I wanted to re-record something, it was really nice to be able to kind of listen back to what I'd shared in terms of feedback with previous courses and then re-record.
And then you see you have an add description option there that's not visible to anybody but you. So you can add in more information about the video.
Right? Like that, those kind of internal notes, right?
Right.
This is the bad one. This just for this semester. I mentioned a date, right? So I can't reuse this video. Don't reuse.
If you want to add a note that you want to refresh it next year or something like that, you could do that too.
Awesome.
And then, click on caption settings. So you have to click that link in order to generate captions, which is something you definitely want to do for all videos. because that way students can see the closed captioning, and then you'll be able to customize. It will automatically generate the captions, but you can go in and edit them if you need to.
Awesome. And could I, if I didn't do it, if I forgot it, but I like the recording, could I go do it in the media library and add them then?
Yep, absolutely. So we have courses that have videos in them. In fact, I just worked with an instructor earlier this semester who has a student that needs captions for an accommodation, and he had a bunch of video notes in his course that didn't have captions, and we were able to go in and pretty quickly generate them.
That is awesome. And I can see I can even download the file here too.
Yep. Yeah, any videos that you create in your media library, you can download and then put them wherever you'd like. So if you have a YouTube channel and you want to put them there or do something else with them, you can always do that.
MP4, presumably?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Any video file that you download is going to be an MP4, and any audio file is an MP3.
Cool. Should I save and close?
Yep.
Awesome.
So it'll take some processing time if it's a longer video. Obviously, that one was only a few seconds, so it's going to be pretty fast. You can leave the screen while it's still processing. You don't have to stay in the media library. Caleb, do you want to show how to edit an existing video?
Yeah. So Jordan, on the right side, yep, go ahead and click the ellipses, and then go ahead and click edit. And so with the media library, you get a pretty good array of editing options. So the first one there that you clicked on is table of contents. This lets you scrub through your video at different points, and it lets you put in like a chapter. And these can be super useful, especially if you're doing like a long recording over multiple topics. You can break down your video into those individual topics. And then that way a student knows, like, let's say they watched a piece of the video already and they're really interested in that one topic, they can quickly jump back to that point, and it'll add it as a timestamp on the overall video timeline. And then what you would do if you want to add a second one, right now, Jordan, you're on the seek tool on the timeline, which is that up arrow. So you can click anywhere else in that timeline, and then you can add a chapter title again. And then now it'll be at that exact timestamp that you put on the timeline.
Pretty intuitive. Neat. Okay, and that is okay. And this is blue because
that's the one that you're currently on.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, yep. And you can also, that little stopwatch icon, what that does is it'll bring you, so let's say you're not quite on the exact point that you want to be. You can actually click to a different point and go up and click that stopwatch, and it'll reset whatever that current time is to the new time based on where you're at in the timeline.
Okay, so it's a way to edit it after the fact. Got it. Okay.
Yep. And you can add as many chapters as you want. They can all be titled however you want. You can remove them just like you did there. And yeah, it's just a nice, useful feature to kind of make a longer video broken down into kind of smaller chunks. And then, like we said earlier, you can add closed captions after the fact. So you can go to that closed captions and you can upload a caption file. These can be through a text file, or there's like a very specific caption file format that you can use. Otherwise, you can select your language from the drop down at the top and then click auto generate. And what this will do is after you click auto generate, it's going to kick you out of making any more edits, and you just have to wait for that generation to be done, and then it'll let you come back to it. So this video doesn't have any audio, so there won't be any captions to be added. But in the future, if you do create something and you go into this closed caption area, just like we did with that the previous videos, it has all those captions being generated on it right now. Those will show up as timestamped pieces on this right side. And like Shannon said, you can actually go in and you can edit each piece as you need to. So that's another really helpful feature.
Does it present as like individual lines you can edit, or is it kind of a block of text? Do you happen to know?
It's a block of text based on timestamps. So it'll have a start and an end timestamp, and then whatever audio was recorded within that time will generate a block of text. And then from there, you can adjust that how you need to. You can also adjust when those timestamps are. And we can probably see that in the video you just made. So you can kind of see how that looks there too. But it's pretty intuitive, similar to the table of contents to actually get everything lined up where you need it to be.
And these tools have gotten so much better over the years, and I assume they'll continue to get better. But always, I'm sure, get acronyms and some names wrong, but pretty strong for someone who kind of needs it quick.
Mhm.
Should we talk about like editing here?
Yeah, and so the last two things that you can do is you can add a section and then you can cut pieces out, or you can cut those sections out. So at first glance, you probably think that line in between the up arrow and the scissors is a different tool, but it's
Yes.
an actual button there. So go ahead and click on mark, and then you can select anywhere on that timeline, just like you did with the seek tool, and it adds a mark at that specific section. So this is a shorter video, so it's not going to be able to do a whole bunch. It's just going to do like up to those 5 seconds.
Sure.
But each time you add a mark, you're sectioning off that piece of the video. And without doing anything to it right now, it's not going to do anything later. But if you wanted to say, like, I don't want section 2 to be visible to my students, you can click on that scissor icon. And then that's the cut tool. And you can actually cut that section out. And what it'll do is it'll just skip from the beginning of that piece to the end of that section.
I can see it kind of highlight, as I hover over it. Okay, neat.
And if you click on it, it just turns it red. It doesn't delete it for you, so you can always come back and you can like restore that piece of the video if you need to. The other side of it too is that if you go back to the mark tool, then what you can do is, so like right now you have 3 marks. If you click on that center mark, that just gets rid of it and it'll extend it out to the next mark that's on there. If you delete the first mark, it'll just go from like that first area back to the beginning. So it'll kind of delete those. So, but if you delete anything after that first mark, it'll just extend it further, or you can like move it up. So you can adjust those timelines a little bit more. It's really helpful to use that seek tool to get to a specific point in the video and then put your markers down so you make sure that you know, I just want to like cut these specific sections. And then something to also note is like with this one, because it's a short video, it's only letting you put a mark every second.
Yeah, see that.
So those ones will be a little bit different as you get into longer videos. You'll be able to be a little bit more precise.
It seems strength that I'm sure it'll get a little bit more involved later, but it's pretty simple. The tools, it's sort of easier than using YouTube, and the sort of the lack of precision is kind of helpful in terms of keeping it simple.
Can you duplicate a video?
I believe you can. There might be a way to do that. We can check when we get back to the overall media library.
Yeah, sure. Can you go back out, or you don't? Are you? Do you have more editing tools to talk about?
Just the last thing I was going to mention is where Jordan just was up there. There's a revision history. That's a drop-down menu. And so if you ever create a video, upload a video, that initial timestamp will be that base of the video. And then as you add edits to it, it'll add a new revision to that overall timeline. And the nice thing is that you can go back and revert back, let's say like, if you made 30 changes one day, but then something got messed up and you want to go back to the original video, you have the ability to go back to that original.
This is good. What's this button over here, Caleb?
And so for any videos that you upload, there may be a situation where it didn't upload like it should have. And so you may get like pixelation or audio skipping or hitching, stuff like that. That optimize for streaming button allows you to reprocess the video with the platform, and then it should fix any of those issues that may have happened during that upload time. And so it, similar to the auto-generating captions, when you click on it, it does require the video to reprocess before you can continue your edits. But otherwise, it's pretty simple on its own. It just does it all in the back end. And it just kind of depends on the length of your video.
Nice. Okay, so it says, please wait or come back later. So do I need to wait to finish?
So you're saved, or like all the changes that you just made are technically saved as a draft. So you can go back to your media library and then you can come back in and see those changes you made. The one thing that will happen is if you try to go out of the media library entirely, you will get met with a little drop-down window, little pop-up that should appear that'll say like, are you sure you want to do this? Your changes won't save. And then from there, you can go back and save your draft or finish.
Got it. So the finish button's kind of there for any edits. I haven't made any edits. I reverted it. So yeah. That's actually, there's more there than I sort of expected. Yeah, neat.
And then, so yeah, now that we're back on your media library, if you click the ellipses on the right side, can't remember if there's an option to duplicate. I guess a duplication option you could do is you could just download the video and then re-upload it.
Sure.
That'd be kind of a way you could duplicate it, but there's not a native way to duplicate or copy a video.
I think actually your version history might even solve that, because what I was thinking was, let's say an instructor cuts out chapter 2 on their lecture video, and then they decide they want to add it back in, or they want it for one section of a course but not another. They could go back and forth between the versions rather than having 2 copies of the video.
There was one question that I forgot real quick too, Caleb. If I wanted to hide that section, like when we were doing that, I think was the snip option. Does the video continue through the second? Is it snipping audio and video? What is it snipping during that? So that 1 second break, if I cut that out?
Yep. So it's skipping any audio and video that was during that section. So as soon as it reaches that section, it does the same thing that like Panopto and other systems do. Sure. It'll just skip you directly over to the start of the next piece. So wherever that second timestamp is for that marker, it'll just start you back up there and continue on. So you'll probably see like a jump cut or like, you know, something like a stutter or something, and then it'll continue on, but it's pretty seamless.
Awesome. Cool.
And then like what Shannon was saying is that if you do want to do something where, like, let's say you're teaching a course, you have a lecture and you want a section cut out for your spring class, but for your fall class, you want to put back in. If you share the same lecture between the 2 classes, you can undo that cut. And then when you click finish, it'll actually just update anywhere that this video is being placed in any of your courses. So then anytime you do any changes at all, it'll just automatically update all the versions that have access to that video.
Very useful. Very cool.
The other nice thing is that your videos are always going to be visible to any students in your course. You don't have to worry about sharing settings or permissions.
And the course copy tool automatically copies everything over. If it was embedded, if it was just a link, it'll copy over, and it won't have the same issues again, like where some videos may have not saved that, you know, specific piece of like that linkage back to another video. Sometimes that happens. So this, because it's built within Brightspace, it's a lot better that way.
I really like the option to preview here, because I have like 367 video notes or something like that. And when I searched Electoral College, a couple of options came up. And so when I was pulling it in, I sort of had to select it and watch it from the course. But if I went to the media library first, I could look at my Electoral College videos and then check the right one before adding it to my course. Okay, I'm seeing how this all sort of connects. Very cool.
Caleb, do students have the same functionality in their media library?
Yep. So they can upload, they can record, they can edit, they can download all that stuff within their own media library. So they won't see like videos that they have access to. It's only the videos that are owned by them. So that's going to be the main thing there. Similar to like what we're seeing here with this online instructor account.
That makes a lot of sense, because you don't want an inadvertently shared video of a future lesson to the student to see that necessarily, right? Even if they're in a course, they need to find it in context, right?
And then if you wanted to look at your captions, Jordan, so next to your video, if you click on the ellipses and then click edit, and then go ahead and click close captions.
Oh, that's right.
And then
cool.
you can see what that looks like.
Oh, that's neat. Okay. So it's not showing me a timestamp.
So next to the caption, click the little caret, and then that shows you that timestamp there.
Okay, cool. And if I tweak these timestamps, the audio or the caption pop up for anyone viewing the video would be altered. Exactly.
Yep. Okay. So if you alter those, it'll just pop up during that whatever that timestamp is that you clicked. And then, like I said earlier, with the table of contents, there's a little stopwatch icon. So you can actually click to a specific section of the video and then click that stopwatch icon to like set the time for when that should have appeared.
Very cool. So I've listened in. Okay, this might be an advanced beyond Jordan method here, but this has been useful sometimes with captions. One time I did some lectures and I really wanted the captions really strong. I sort of chose to bump the captions up early because I wanted students to see the text a little bit longer, or maybe sometimes a little bit less text at one time, right? Make it more manageable. So lectures I was really going to use and record for a really long time might be worth it to kind of do some of that work.
Yeah, definitely. And it automatically category or it sorts itself based on those timestamps. So if you wanted to, between where this one ends at like 3 seconds and the next one starts at 4 seconds, you could click at 3 seconds in the video, add your captions, and click that plus button, and it'll automatically put it between those two sections of closed captionings.
And the add button, there it is. Okay.
Yep. And so now it'll kick that other one down.
Cool.
And one other cool thing too that is not just inherent to this editing feature is now on your video, after you add captions, you will have the ability to turn on and off captions within the little settings icon. But next to the settings icon, you now get a little magnifying glass icon. And so the magnifying glass icon actually turns into a search. So you can search for any time a certain phrase was used while you're watching your video. So let's say somebody's in a bio course and they want to learn about a specific muscle. They can just type in the name of that muscle, click search, and it'll actually put timestamps on the timeline for them when it's detected that that was used in a caption at some point.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Cool. Okay. Neat. I wonder if the search works yet. Do you think I need to finish before the search would work?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, so you need to finish and then you'll preview the video and then it'll work. If you want to, there's also the My Campus video that's part of this account. You can actually use that one and then you can search anything from there. That one has some audio.
Cool. So that was edit, right?
Just go ahead and preview it.
Yeah,
it should have captions.
Okay, cool.
Maybe it doesn't. Or there it is. There you go. Just have to turn them on.
Perfect. Neat. Okay. What'd you say? My Campus? Yep. It probably reads it as 2 words, right? You can try both.
Yeah, you could try either one. And then as you see there, there's little timestamps that pop up that are like little stars.
Wow. Okay. And then these lines are those chapters. Is that right?
Yep. So there's going to be those individual chapters will show up as timestamps all the time. And then your searches will pop up as individual pieces as well in that timeline. So since you type My Campus, it should show those pieces on there. And then those little stars should show up. It should say like if it's a chapter, if it's part of those captions.
I'm gonna hit play and see what happens. I don't know if I'm sharing audio, but I heard Travis's voice going very chipmunky, very fast.
We don't hear, but we can see the captions.
There it is. Of course, yes. Awesome. In fact, it was actually too fast for me to hear just now, but this popped it up, and seeing the captions, it clearly was there. My ears missed it, but the AI sees it.
And then the last piece that I would show off is if you click on the little gear icon, the settings in the video, and then you can click View Transcript. And then this actually has a transcript for you on the right side. So the video will still play on the left, and then you'll still get this navigation like you would in other systems where you could actually read at the same time as the video is going on. And then there's also an option to download these when students are looking at the transcript.
Neat. Wow. The mind reels. There it is. Okay, neat. Okay.
That's
and are these the caption options for upload if you're uploading a file and you didn't do the auto captions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So you would upload, but when you do like a VTC file, I think you have to have a certain program that adds timestamps versus the TXT file. You can open that up in like a notepad or like a Word document, but you save it as a TXT file. You have to add those timestamps manually. And I believe there's like a very specific format you have to have.
Sure. Sounds like a job for Google Gemini potentially in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, a next level use of the transcript download could be download the transcript from your lecture video, put it in Brightspace, maybe hide it from learners, but use it to generate quiz questions with Lumi or generate lecture notes or whatever other tools you want, materials you want to put in your course based on that lecture.
Yeah. You said it. Why not harness the knowledge that you shared, right?
Right.
My mind is reeling.
One other thing I wanted to mention, tell me if this is true. I think it is. When you're in the media library, you can also see videos that your students have created in your courses. Is that right?
In your media library, I don't believe so because they're not items that are owned by you.
Okay. Maybe that's our level of access.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's going to be a change coming up. I could see that being useful as like maybe an assignment folder, and then you could watch those videos that are just kind of out there. But as far as I know for right now, it's because it's like a global tool that it doesn't have something that's inherently just for like a specific class. Because I think at that point, if you did see that, you would see it at every level. You'd see all students across all courses.
Right. Yeah, I saw the 276 or whatever of mine, but I've also seen the global, which is probably thousands, right? So I've seen those two views within my permission. So I think that instructor view is just yours, yeah, at least for now.
Awesome. All right. Well, should we show how you can add existing videos to your media library from another source?
Sure. And then the other thing, and maybe I'm not sure the sequence we should do it, but should we pull into once I've created a video, the act of pulling that into a Brightspace course, can we show that too?
Oh, sure. We could do that too.
Okay.
Let's do that first.
All right. I recorded my excellent lecture, ready to share it with learners. Shannon, guide me.
Well, it depends where you want to put it. So you could put it at the top of your module in your description if it's, let's say it's a module overview or something like that. It's an intro. Sure. So you can go up and click on the add stuff icon right there. Yep. It's got 4 little icons. And then scroll down to add media library. Yep. And then search. Do you remember what you called it?
There's Pixel. I'm going to search neat just to see if somehow it picks up that transcript. It did. Wow. So that was not in the description or the title. That was in the captions. Is that word? Yes. Neat. And I was going to search Pixel too. So let's try that. Awesome. Fast.
So go ahead and click on it and then click next.
Yeah. Look at these options too. Cool. For power users. All right. We'll do that again. So insert stuff. Good practice makes perfect.
Media library, yeah.
Library. That's just a neato. Neat. So clicking on the video.
And then click next.
That blue button in Brightspace. Okay.
There's your preview.
Good size.
And then you just insert.
I can do one final preview up to look at it. And then don't forget that update button.
And just so you know, you can highlight the video and center it if you want to, or move it down, or move it around within that text space.
Perfect. And delete it too. That's another thing. It's pretty easy to delete these if you're done with this video. It's a backspace. I put the cursor in front of backspace and update. And it's not gone, right? It's in that media library. I can pull it in anytime, any course.
Right.
What about in the content? Same experience into an HTML page. Would that be most typical probably?
You can actually add it directly from the media library into your content.
Show me.
So I believe you go to existing activities.
Got it.
And media library. Yep.
I've never done this before.
On a laptop, you do have to zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, I see that.
And then you get the next.
There we go. That's been happening all day. Oh, that's cool. Okay, uses that video designator. Neat. I'll click on it just to preview it. I like that we're going through this thoroughly because there's a lot more here than I kind of expected.
Yeah, and you get a few other options too when you insert it directly versus using using that insert stuff tool. Like in here, you get the option to edit your video. It'll just take you directly over to the editor for you. So you can just update some of these. If you need to do the advanced editing, which is like doing the captions and everything else, then you can go out to that overall editor. But yeah, you can change the file. You can notify the students if the file has changed. So it'll just send them a little notification letting them know like, hey, there's been an update to this video.
So I copied my content forward. It's week 3. I've got the old video. It's the second day of this week. Oops. Replace the file quickly. Let students know, hey, I was a day behind, but new video's there.
The other nice thing about adding them directly in the content is that you can go through course progress and look at who's viewed it.
Right.
Right. Whereas if it's embedded, you can't see that.
And view time. So it's after I click on this in the class progress tool, it's how long a student is here, right? Which is also the video. So I suppose I could sit here for 5 minutes and pretend they watched it, but
right.
That's worth something.
You could.
I thought about watching it.
It's definitely better information than nothing, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Very cool. Okay. Should we transition to that next topic?
Yes. Let's. Do you have Panopto open?
I've got the My Campus open.
So why don't you go to Panopto? All right, so let's go over how to download a video out of Panopto and get it into your media library. So this will work from any source, YouTube or anywhere else that you might have videos stored, but we'll show you Panopto. So go ahead and hover over one of your videos and go to settings.
So if you hover over the thumbnail and then click the gear icon.
All right, and then you go to outputs, right, Caleb? Am I remembering this right?
Correct.
Good.
I'll zoom in a little bit here.
So here you can decide if you want to download the video the way that it is, or if you want it to look a little bit different. So under type, you can see you have, this one looks like you have some options. You can do primary. If you've got yourself and a slideshow, for example, all in the video, that would be a primary and a secondary video stream. So you can choose if you want, maybe you want to take your camera view out and you just want the slideshow, or you want side by side, or you want picture in picture. You can kind of play with what you want to do there. And then once you figure that out, then you just hit download podcast.
Let's say I want to preserve both. So let's do, how about side by side for fun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and does it sort of allow me to sort of preview what it would look like then?
Correct.
Neat. Okay, cool.
And then Caleb, do you have any suggestions in terms of the quality? Is there any specific thing people should select there?
1080p 30 FPS is probably the best quality. You can do 60, but there's not really much need for that unless you recorded it at a higher frame rate. So okay. 1080p 30 FPS is the recommended.
And do I need to apply these settings before downloading the podcast?
Yep. You do have to apply, and it will reprocess the podcast. So it'll take a little bit for it to section where you want to like actually download it.
Let's pretend like we've done that. And hit download.
And also, if you're coming in here and you want to download all of your videos out of Panopto, you could go through and do this step first, and then as they're processing, do this for the other ones, and then when they're all done, then go in and download them.
Go through them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it allows me to retitle. I'll save it to my desktop. Easy. And it's there. That's pretty fast.
It's going to save it as an MP4 file, and then you can go back over to your media library.
Back to Brightspace.
Should be at the bottom of the list.
Most people are only going to see the media library here. Depends on your level of access in Brightspace. And then you can click that blue upload file button. Yep, find your video. Yep, that's it. It's that simple.
And there it is. That's actually kind of lightning fast. Wow.
And you can upload in a batch. So if you've got all of your videos downloaded from Panopto, you can come through here and upload multiple videos at once. So it's slower on the Panopto side than it is on the media library side.
And that search feature is really powerful, especially until there's like, those folders, right? Like that ability to just kind of search is going to be really useful. And that speaks to the need to really title and describe well. But even the transcript itself is a really powerful tool here. So I'm sure those folders will be neat, but a big pile of videos is still useful as an instructor, I would say. And so I definitely would want to probably retitle this. It's probably going to come up with some language depending on where I got it from. And so that seems to be its own button, a rename button.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
At this point, for uploaded videos, you do have to use the rename button to rename them. And then they don't have an option to automatically add captions. So one other thing you would have to do is if you want to add captions to any of these videos, you do have to go to the editor and then go to the closed captions and then generate them.
Okay. So yeah, if you're doing a bunch of videos, lecture videos, I could see how you'd kind of do one step at a time for the whole group. So kind of there goes your afternoon, but once you're done, you've got your videos, and then that you can use them, across your courses and into the future.
Yep. So the one thing I recommend instructors do is download all your videos, get them all uploaded, and then just when you have time, go through and add the captions.
Sure. Right. Get them in there first.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Then spend some time renaming and adding descriptions too. Anything that will help you know, when you created the video or how long you think it's going to be current. Anything like that will be helpful.
Super cool.
All right. Anything else that we need to show?
I feel ready for the media library here. I do.
Good. All right. Well,
thanks,
if you need help, you know where to find us.
Bye.
Game over.